Welcome back to a Pixel Game Maker tutorial. Today we're going over plugin pack 7. So with that said, let's get started. Alright, so just in case you've never installed one of my plugins before, I've already done the first 3, but I'm going to go ahead and do the delete filter. So you're just going to click on load, you're going to click on the plugin that you're going to upload, you're going to set the common right here, you're going to set a common variable right here. You need to make sure the default value is -100. You just go to here, make sure it's -100. Then the next thing you want to do is set a object that will only be used for this plugin, no other purpose in the game. And then you just want to make sure that in that object, the basic settings is set to none. You're going to want to add this to a group that is neutral. You're not going to want this to be like the player or the enemy or something. You can delete all those. It doesn't really matter, but yeah, just make sure that this is like a neutral object. And that's really all that you need to set this up. The last thing that you need to do is to just refresh these numbers just by going down or up and then go back to the normal number. And sometimes these numbers get stuck. So yeah, that's how you install. So now let's just go over some of these features. So with apply filter, we'll have the usual targeting enhancements where you can just target a bunch of different things. For instance, if we go to the player object here, we can now target, let's just say all objects. We could do on both scenes, and we want to just do the bass noise and all that other stuff. I'm just going to click OK real quick. And then when we play test this and hit Q, everything should filter noise just like that. So we can do all objects. Now we could just say that we want it to be on the normal scene, and then we can press play test here, and it only does objects on the normal scene. We can also specify a layer. So we can just say, hey, we only want it to be on the, I think it's the layer 2. If we go to the scene here, yeah, layer 2. So it's 1, 2, 3, etc. So layer 2 here, these ones right here, and these ones must be the only ones on the player scene. And then the other cool thing is that this can also be set via variable. So your layer can change dynamically as much as you want. And so along with just being able to change the filters, you can now use variable values for these filters instead, which is really nice. And then you can do image IDs with variables if you need that. And then your apply times can be set with variable as well. So there was a few unique changes, but overall, these are really nice. The fact that we can target all the objects now. All right, so going back to the plugins, the delete filter, you can kind of understand it. It's really the same thing. The apply scene filter, it's only going to be single targets because you're only applying it to a scene, right? So what we could do here is we have all the affected kind of layers. There's a few different options. We can now choose the layer, which will also let us do a variable option. So let's just say that in your scene that this scene, the player is, I don't know, right here, but then in the next scene, the player layer is right here. You can adjust it to where you have a common variable that is constantly keeping track of the player layer. All right. And how you could simply do that is there is another plugin set that it's not installed on this project, but you can get the layer. So at the start of a scene, you can have an initialize kind of method here that will grab the layer ID of this player, and that is going to be the new player layer. And then you could go from there affecting the scene on that layer specifically. That's just an example. If you are choosing this one left to right from current layer, what you could do here is just tweak it whatever the layer is. You could do 2 above or 2 below. For instance, if you go less than 0, it's going to be moving to the right. If you go greater than 0, it's going to be moving to the left, basically, of the layer that this instance is calling from, just to note. And then basically the same things as well as the apply filter. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. The biggest thing obviously is getting access to grabbing all instances, menu scene, normal scene, stuff like that. If there's any questions, you can comment Steam forums below. We'll get you figured out. With that said, I'll see you at the next video.